Welcome to the space between. I'm glad you're here. Pull up a chair. Take a slow breath with me. One of the things I have been reflecting on lately is how easy it is to become indispensable without ever intending to. Nobody wakes up one morning and says, I think I'll build my entire identity around being needed. It happens gradually. You volunteer for something, you take on a little more responsibility, you become good at solving problems. And people notice. They trust you. They ask for your help again. And before long, you become the person everyone counts on. The dependable one, the responsible one, the one who gets things done. That was certainly true for me. Over the course of my career, I was a psychotherapist, a leader, a CEO, a consultant, a professor, a board chair, a mentor, and an advocate. I spent decades improving systems to help young people navigate the transition into adulthood. I built programs, I led organizations, developed leaders, solved problems, and I loved the work. But somewhere along the way, I stopped noticing that being responsible had become part of my identity. Not in a bad way, just in a very human way. When people spend years relying upon us, we begin relying on that role too. We get used to being needed. We get used to being the one with the answers. We get used to carrying things. And then retirement arrives. Not as a crisis, not as a failure, not even as a surprise, but as an invitation to ask a different question. What happens when you are no longer needed in quite the same way? That is the question that retirement placed in front of me. And maybe it's one that retirement has placed in front of you as well. For more than 30 years, I have carried this poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson called Success in my wallet. And one line stayed with me all those years. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded. Gets me gushy right now. Not because it's focused on money, and not because it's focused on title, not because it's focused on status. It's focused on impact, helping people, making a difference, leaving things a little better than I found them. And that belief guided many of the decisions I made throughout my career. In fact, it is the one reason I left a successful career in retail management to pursue a master's degree in psychology. It led me into child welfare. It led me into leadership. It led me into advocacy. Looking back, I can see that purpose was never the problem. The problem was that I slowly began confusing my contribution with my value. Maybe you've done that too. Maybe your career became more than a job. Maybe it became evidence that you mattered. Maybe you became the caregiver, the provider, the leader, the organizer, the fixer, the person everyone called when something needed to be done. There's nothing wrong with any of those roles. In fact, they are often expressions of our strength. But the challenge comes when we begin believing that our worth depends on performing those roles. For decades, the world rewards us for being productive. It rewards us for achieving, for solving, for producing, for accomplishing. Then retirement arrives and quietly asks a question many of us have spent years avoiding. Who are you when nobody needs your resume? Who are you when nobody cares about your title? Who are you when your calendar gets a little quieter? I think that is one of the hidden challenges of retirement. Not because we stop contributing, but because we have learned that contribution and worth are not the same thing. That lesson has not come naturally to me. There are days when I catch myself measuring my value by what I've accomplished. There are still days when I feel guilty for resting. There are still days when I wonder whether I should be doing more. But retirement keeps teaching me the same lesson over and over again. My worth and my usefulness are not the same thing. I can still serve. I can still teach. I can still write. I can still contribute. But my value as a human being does not rise and fall with my productivity. And neither should yours. And maybe this is one of retirement's greatest invitations: to stop proving, to stop performing, stop caring quite so much, and to discover that we were valuable all along. So I leave you with a retirement lesson. Your worth and your usefulness are not the same thing. And if you have spent years being the responsible one, the dependable one, the person everyone counts on, perhaps a retirement is inviting you to put some of that weight down. Not because you stopped caring, not because you stopped contributing, but because your value was never dependent on caring at all in the first place. This week, I want you to reflect on one question. Where in your life are you still carrying responsibility that no longer belongs to you? Sit with that question. Take it on a walk. Write about it in a journal and see what emerges. If you know someone else navigating this uncertain middle, invite them here. And if this resonated with you, please hit like and subscribe. It helps others find their way to this space too. We'll learn in public, we'll rest on purpose, and we'll get braver together. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Winter, and this is The Space Between.